What's up, guys? It's Lord Botha here with another video, and Netflix they're coming after another old favorite. Netflix is readapting The Little House on the Prairie, and their announcement, it's about as good as you think it could be. This is their post via Twitter. Little House on the Prairie, a reimagining of Laura Ingalls Wilder book series, is coming to Netflix. Two things I want to highlight there off the bat. One, we all know reimagining is just a code word for, hey, we're going to use barely any of the source material at all. Like, this story that we're going to tell is going to be like 25, 15, 10%. 10% actual Little House on the Prairie. The other thing I learned is that Laura Ingalls Wilder is incredibly difficult to say in the middle of a long sentence. The post goes on to say, part family drama, part survival tale, and part origin story. The series will offer a kaleidoscopic view of the struggles and triumphs of those who shaped the American West. All that whole statement tells me is that they're going to show a very real, rough, gritty depiction of the Little House on the Prairie, what life was really like in the Old West, while also shoving a bunch of diversity in there that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think the reaction of most people, including me, when we first saw this news was, who is Netflix going to make a black lesbian in this? A kaleidoscopic view of the struggles and triumphs of those who shaped the American West. Who talks like that? Nobody who thinks about the American Old West thinks of it like a kaleidoscope. And I know you're probably being like, oh, that's just semantics, it's language, whatever. Yeah, but it's that's the point. The person who wrote this post to promote this show, or this adaptation of this show that's coming, is showing that they don't really quite understand what the show is really supposed to capture if it's going to be popular, and what audience it should really appeal to. I think this is going to be another case of Netflix giving a project that should be handled by one team to a team that should never touch it at all, which they've done several times over their existence. And it's made things that could be really good into absolute terrible catastrophes of shows. Honestly, what I really think is that Netflix crunched the numbers and they looked at what's on television right now and what's on streaming and what's on popular, what people are trying to see, and they realized, you know what's really popular? Yellowstone and all of its subsidiaries, and Tulsa King and Landman. Basically anything written by Taylor Sheridan, who's a Western and country writer. So Netflix said, you know what we need to do? We need to get some of that Taylor Sheridan. And their solution? Well, let's adapt The Little House on the Prairie. And the funny thing is, we all know it's going to be bad, and it's not going to represent anything that we think of as Little House on the Prairie. It's certainly not going to resemble the late 80s, early 90s show by Michael Landon. In fact, this kind of thing right here, this is why Michael Landon blew up the set at the end of the show. Because he didn't want absolute idiots and money grubbers like the people that work at Netflix to come in, take their set, and do something terrible with it. At least that was one of several reasons he had for blowing up the set. Also, Little House on the Prairie, it just worked. That show was perfect for its time and how it was made, what purpose it served, the direction it went, and even then it took some controversial curves along the way in the show, especially towards the end. But that show really kind of ingrained itself as, I think, the permanent view of how we think of as Little House on the Prairie. It's kind of like, and this is completely different, but the Ninja Turtles movie from 1989. That Ninja Turtles movie is so good and did the story so well that nobody cares what you have to say about the Michael Bay movies or any other iteration or whatever. That movie is goated, and no one will ever accept another kind of Ninja Turtles movie. It holds up perfectly well and did an absolutely fine adaptation of the story, just like the Little House on the Prairie show did for Little House on the Prairie. Essentially, this is a show that's not needed, not wanted, gonna be done probably really, really bad, and quite honestly, it's gonna be one of those things that makes me sad when I see it come out. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.